Very good afternoon, students. In the previous lecture till now, we have studied the biography of John Donne, and we have studied this poem, A Valediction Forbidding Moonring, in which we have done a line-wise detail analysis of the poem. Okay, we have only discussed the lines. Okay, we haven't discussed anything else. Okay, we haven't discussed themes or other specific elements of the poem or about the writer or the poet. Okay, so in this poem, in this very beautiful poem, we have seen the basic examples of the metaphysical poetry. Okay, as you know that John Donne, he is one of the major propounder of metaphysical poetry. Okay, so let's just quickly revise what are the various or the main feature of metaphysical poetry, or even what do we mean by metaphysical poetry, or why it is called metaphysical poetry. Okay, so metaphysical poetry is basically group of poems, okay, which they share some common characteristics. Okay, Samuel Johnson, he characterized all these poets into a genre of poems which he called metaphysical. Okay, so when he used this term, it wasn't a kind of you know uh, compliment he's giving to the writers, but rather he was mocking him that they are polluting the poetry. Okay, so in literature, when we talk simply about metaphysical, what is metaphysics? So this is a philosophical concept, okay, which is used to describe things which are beyond the description of physical existence. Okay, and literature, basically the metaphysical, it is used with poetry. So it is a type of poetry which was written during 17th century. Okay, and yeah, why it is called metaphysical poetry? Okay, because there were some basic characteristics. Okay, there were some basic characteristics that were used by these poets. Okay, there were groups of poems which share these common characteristics. What are these common characteristics? What these poems contain? All of these poems, they are highly intellectual. Okay, they use a strange kind of imaginary. Okay, they use paradox, they have extremely complicated thoughts. Yes, complexity and subtlety of thought. Okay, and often they deliberate harshness or rigidity of expression. And yes, very famously they use these conceit. Okay, metaphorical conceit. So yes, so these are some of the prime common characteristics, we can say, that we have of metaphysical poetry. Okay, so we can take some of the examples. John Donne's Flea, this is very good example of metaphysical poetry. The sun rising also. Okay, and yes, we find an example of metaphorical conceit in this valediction. Okay, so yes, these are some of the examples. Other than John Donne, we have writers like Ian Southwell. Okay, he has this poem called An Elegy, written by the Lady A.S. Okay, George Herbert. So there are various poets who belong to this metaphorical genre. Okay, George Herbert is there, Henry Vaughan is there, Abraham Cowley is there, Richard Crashew is there, Andrew Marvell. All these poets, they share this common characteristics. I have mentioned those common characteristics which were these common characteristics that feature in their poems. Okay, so this is the reason all those poems that belongs to which contain those characteristics, these common characteristics, these poems, they are called metaphysical poem or metaphysical poetry. Okay, so this was the thing. So we have already studied the valediction. So the second poem we have prescribed in our syllabus, that is Sweetest Love, I Do Not Go. Okay, so this is the second poem that we have in our syllabus. So Sweetest Love, I Do Not Go. When we were studying valediction, we know that poem, it was from the collection of love poem by Donne. Again, this poem is the same. Okay, it been taken from those collection of love poems by Donne. And the same way, the previous poem was written. In this poem also, he's addressing to his wife anymore. Okay, and yes, the theme of the poem is again become parting. Same as in the valediction, the theme of this poem also, this is parting. Okay, both of these two lovers, they're parting with each other. Okay, दोनों अलग हो रहे हैं. And that parting, how that been expressed in this poem, how this parting is happening and how one should behave with that parting. Okay, so this poem, this is a kind of poetry where poet, he's consoling his wife. Poet, he was departing for Europe in 1611. I have discussed that in the biography. Do recheck that video lecture. So again, he was departing for Europe in 1611, and this poem, this is an expression of those feelings which he's experiencing when he went far away from his wife. John, and he's gravely in love with her. Okay, so in this poem, he's just trying to make this sense that parting and death, there is a grave difference between these things. Okay, how these both of these ideas or these words, they are different from each other. Okay, so again we will find the theme of death all over the poems of these metaphorical writers, especially John Donne. We will find this kind of a theme. Okay, so in this poem, death and parting, the difference between these two ideas, it has been described. So death, when we try to see it, death, it is also a kind of parting for near and dear ones. So the situation of departing, it is also, not very different from death. But poet, he's just trying to console his wife, saying that she should not be tearful and should face this situation. Just remember the lines. There should be no tear floods, no sign tempest move. Okay, same way, he is just trying to make sense to his wife. He's trying to console her, and let's just read it. Okay, now sweetest love, I don't go. See, first of all, let's just try to analyze this stanza. See, sweetest love, this is a lyric. It is made up of 5 stanza each with the same rhyme scheme. See, this is a sonnet. This is a kind of sonnets, and sonnet always have a specific rhymic pattern. The rhyme pattern of this the sonnet, it is A B C D D C. Okay, this is a song basically. Okay, so this is a lyric which is made up of 5 stanza, and it follow this rhyme scheme. You should write it. Okay, so each stanza, it develop an aspect of problem of separation from one of one's beloved. Okay, so it just describe the problem of separation. Okay, now, okay, sweetest love. So see how he respond to his to her wife, to his wife, how he called her. He addressed his wife as sweetest love. What did it reflect? It reflect that he loved his wife so much. This show, this 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 word, these words, sweetest love, it shows his intense emotion for his wife. Okay, intense emotion of love. Okay, so sweetest love, I do not go for weariness of thee. Sweetest love, I do not go. See, sweetest love, it is who? It is wife, or if the lover. What he's trying to say here, the sweetest love, my love, I do not go. I am not going for weariness of thee. Okay. See, he's saying that he's separating from his wife. That separation, he's being separated not because he's aware of thee means you, nor in hope the word can show a fitter love for me. He said that I am leaving, I am going, we are departing. Okay, we are separating from each other. It's not just because that I am bored of you, I'm weary of you. I'm not parting from you just because of that, or in hope the world can show a fitter love for me. Okay, so he is not going away because he's consoling. Basically, he's consoling his lover that he's not going away as he's tired of the relationship, or he can find a better person, a better love, fitter love, you can see, right? He's not leaving with any this kind of hope that he will get some better love, better person than her in any part of the world. Okay, but since that I must die at last, I must die at last, it is best to use myself in jest, thus by feigned deaths to die. He said that yes, and since the death, he's talking about death here. He said that death, it is, each and every person, he must die one day. Death is inevitable. So he's saying that when this death comes, he want to get fully prepared. Okay. Okay, so must die at last, it is best to use myself in jest, thus by feigned death to lie. See, what he's saying, he say that everybody, whoever is born, he must die at last. So I am not an exception, I will also die. Okay, so what he's saying here, that it is best that I use myself in jest, that is, what is jest? Jest is mocking. This is a kind of act, a joke. Okay, act performed for amusement. So in a very mocking way, in a very jestful way, he said that it is better for him to practice dying. Okay, so to use myself in jest by feigned. And what is feigned? Okay, feigned is when you pretense it. Okay, faking it. Okay, so this feigned, it is taken from feign. Okay, feign means to making a false show, faking it, simply you can say. So what he is saying, that since I have to die at last, so it is best that I use myself in jest. I just practice dying by feigning death, just pretending that I am dead already. So why he has used this? So this is the time he's separating from his lover. So what he said, that this separation, it is just like death. So losing, he just turns her fear about losing him into an assurance. See, so what he's just trying to say here, that she is the very source of his existence. If you remember the previous lines in the previous lecture, when he tried to say that my word, it just begin with you and end with you only. So, he's just assuring that she is the very source of his existence, and if he is not with her, it is just like being dead. So he said that, okay, separating from you, this separation, it is just like death. So, separating from you, it's just a death for me. So since I'm separating, so it is more or less like being death already. So let me just practice it. Okay, since you are the source of my existence, and if I am not with you, it is just like being death. Okay, so he said that let's just feign death, let's just pretend it, let's just fraud that just let's just practice dying. Okay, so I guess you understand this thing. Now, in the second sentence, what he said: yesterday the sun went hence, and yet it is here today. He hath no desire, nor sense, nor half so short away. Yesterday the sun went hence. Okay. So yesternight. So this is a metaphor he has used here. What he said, that sun, he has used sun as a metaphor. Why he has used it? He is used it to develop a kind of analogy between his journey and the movement of the sun. What he said, yesterday the sun, yesternight he said the sun went hence. Sun went hence का क्या मतलब है? Sun sets. Okay, sun जो था set, it the day ends. Sun went away का क्या मतलब है? Sun, the sun sets, and yet here it is today. And yet here is to, when the sun sets, the darkness appear. But again, it is here today. Okay, what is here today? What is that? Where is that? Yes, it is here today. What it means? That the sun is here today. Okay, a sun is here today with a new morning, leaving the darkness and the sadness behind. Okay, he had no desire or sense, nor half shot away. See, he said that the sun, it doesn't have any desires or sense. Okay, if the sun can complete its journey all around the world, okay, see, just watch it carefully. He hath, it means has. It has no desire nor sense. Okay, he doesn't have a desire or any kind of senses. Okay, nor half so short away. He said that, okay, no, it completed its long journey around the world and it come back. Then fear not me, then don't fear about me, don't get afraid about me that I will not come back. Okay, definitely, if the sun can complete without having any kind of desire or senses, the sun can complete its long journey, so that because I have a desire and sense towards you, I love you. Okay, so he said that, okay, I shall also make the speedier journey. Shall I take more wings and serpes than he? Getting it? So he is just trying to console her that she should not fear and she should trust him. He will complete a shorter journey and come back, because unlike sun, he has more desire and reasons to come back. And what is that reason? As I have discussed, it is their love for each other. So in this stanza, he is just explaining that he has more wings and suppers than he. More reasons he's just trying to say here. More wings and supper. Again, this is a metaphor. Okay, and yes, what he's trying to say here, that I will make a speedy journey since I take more wings and suppers than he. Again, this is a metaphor. This is the metaphor for desire and senses. He said, I have more wings, I have more, more reasons. Okay, more desires to come back. Alright, now, yes. Alright, so this was the thing. Now, in the third stanza, he describes how feeble is man's power. Okay, He's saying that how feeble is men's power. Feeble is, lacking any kind of efficiency, in expression, deficient in physical strength, you can say. How feeble, how weak men's power is. Very ironically, he's describing it. Okay, that how weak human power is. That if good fortune fell, cannot add another hour, not a lost hour recall. Just try to understand this thing. Good fortune fall. See, he is just feeling miserable here. He's being very ironical here. He said that how weak human being is. See, when the good fortune comes, one cannot add more time to this good part of life. When the good time comes, it just go. Okay, he cannot stop it or add some more time to this good part of life. And second thing he's saying that nor a lost hour recall. And he said, but come back changes. We join it to our strength, and we teach it art and length itself over us to advance. See what he's just trying to say here, that we cannot bring the lost good times of life, but see, we cannot add another hour. Okay, we cannot add more time to this good part of life. We cannot add more time to our good fortunes. And also we cannot bring back those lost good times of life. But when this bad time comes, we face that, the bad time with all our strength. See, but when the bad chance comes, it means that when the bad time in life it comes, we join it to our strength. It means that we try to face it with all our strength, with all our energy, with all our power. We extend the length of time. See, we extend the length of time, the bad time, by worrying about it. Okay. But if we teach it art and length, what it means? That if we teach a bad time a good lesson, okay, if we teach him a good lesson, then this bad fortune, it will not hamper the rest of our life. Okay, itself over us to advance. It means that it will not affect us. It will not hamper us the rest of our life. So he's just trying to say it, that the way the good fortune come, okay, and we cannot add more time to it. Okay, we are such a weak person, but जब बुरा वक्त आता है, what we tend to do, we with all our strength we try to face it. Okay, and we teach that bad time a good lesson. How we are going to teach bad time a good lesson? By accepting it and by facing that bad time with all our strength. Okay, and when we try to challenge the bad time and we work over it, we work towards it, then this bad fortune, it will not hamper the rest of our life. Instead of that, if we are just sitting there and bothering, if the bad things, they can bother us, it definitely going to hamper rest of our lives. अगर हम ये सोचते रहें कि अच्छा हमारा बुरा टाइम चल रहा है, हमेशा से हमारा बुरा टाइम ही चलता रहा है, तो हम बुरे टाइम को सिर्फ कोसते रह जाएंगे. लेकिन if we do not do anything about that, so it is definitely going to hamper the rest of our life, and it will affect us mentally and physically also. So better, the writer is saying us, the poet is saying us, that we should teach this bad time a good lesson. Okay, then only this bad fortune, it will not affect us, it will not hamper us. Okay, it cannot make itself over us to advance. Okay, so in this way we can face the bad luck, face the bad time and come over it. Okay, so one should welcome both of these phases, because whatever happens had to happen, and we should not waste time thinking about tomorrow, but instead of that we should enjoy our present. How? By winning the bad fortune with all our strength. Okay, now the fourth stanza. When thou sign not wind, but sign my soul away. See how deep he writes. He said that, when his lover breathes, sign is, again, we have, where is the brush? In the previous poem also we have this word sign. This is an expression. Okay, so he said that when my lover, she breathes, she only not take wind. What is wind here? This is oxygen. Okay, we breathe in oxygen, right? So what he say here, that when my lover, she breathes, she not only breathe in oxygen, but signs my soul away. Okay, but she also takes my soul away. She's not only breathing oxygen, but also she's taking my soul. Okay, so he's just simply saying it, when this beloved, when she expresses despair, okay, this expression of despair, it can, cause, it can harm to her lovers. Okay, because he is just much a part of her that he is in her breath. You getting it? How the sensual kind of poetry he's just trying to present here. What he said. And when she breathes, she not only breathe the oxygen or the air, she also takes his soul away. When thou means you, when you weep unkindly kind, my life's blood doth decay. He said, when you are crying, you're crying, this is both kind and unkind. See how it is kind and unkind. For kind kaise? Kind because her cry, it shows that, her love towards the poet, his love towards the lover, and the pain of separation. Okay, this crying, it signifies two things. There is kindness and there is unkindness. How it is kind? Because yes, she is crying because she is deeply in love with the poet, and yes, she is crying because she is feeling the pain of their separation. But for the lover, at the same time, when he see her lover crying, it just kills him. He feel sad about it. He feel bad that my lover, my wife, she's crying. So this is the unkind. When she cries, her tears fall. Okay, he said, whenever a person cries, the tears obviously they fell, right? So for that, shedding of that tear, he compared it with bloodshed. So this is again an example of conceit. He said that when you weep, your tears, they fell, and they are not tear, they are my blood. Okay, so what he said, he say that, okay, when you cry, you do not shed your tears, but what you do, you shed my blood. Okay, so this is the reason he requests not to cry, because he is so attached, so they are part of, they both are, the same soul. Okay, so he said that when you weep, when your tears, they fall, they shed, you do not shed you do not fall your tears, but you're shedding my blood. Okay, so it cannot be that you loves me and you say. Okay, so what he's just trying to say here, that, if you love me as you say, see, if you love me as you say, as thou say, as you say, if in thine my love, my life thou waste, the art, the best of me. Okay, if in thine my life you waste, that art, the best of me. Okay, so what he's just trying to say here, he said that, both of us, we are just like two bodies and one soul. So if his wife is sad, he is sad. If something happens to his wife, he is also, he will die. Okay, you are the best of me. What he's saying here, he's saying that, we are just like two bodies and one soul. So if you love me, as you said, so you will not cry. Okay, so he's just saying this thing, do not cry. You're weeping. It just make the poet died. Die in my life, thou ways that art are the best of me. Okay, you're weeping, it's just making me sad, and eventually if something happened to you, I will die. Okay, so this is the final stanza. Okay, I guess you understand this thing. What is that? Okay, so he is saying that, right, this is my life's blood you're shedding with your tears. Okay, so unkindly kind, this is an oxymoron. Okay, this oxymoron, it is just emphasizing the lover's pain in seeing the extent of her need to be with him. Okay, so this is the thing. So now in the final stanza, okay, what happened? Okay, in the final stanza, okay, what he's saying, let's just read it. Okay, he say, let not thy divining heart forethink me any ill. You know what he's saying, that your divine like, okay, divine like. See, what is divine? Divine is something which is, eternal, holy. And here, the divining, it is used simply as beautiful, heavenly. Okay, so what he's saying, that let not your divining heart forethink me of any ill. Okay, forethink, what is forethink? Forethink, it's, thinking, considering. Okay, so what he's saying, that, okay, your heart is how, the heart is divining, divining, it is pure. So he is just saying this thing, that let your heart, should not think anything evil, ill, he's saying. When you think anything ill, it means that you're having some kind of bad thoughts. Okay, so what he's saying, that let not your divining heart forethink me any ill. Okay, so basically we think from heart, not from mind, he's saying. Oh, I'm just saying it. Okay, so what he's saying, that you should, think positive about him when he's departing. He just addresses lover's heart, that it is very pure. So he's just making a play here, not to bring any bad thoughts about him. And when they are separating, destiny may take thy part, that this may be a destiny. Destiny, it is playing its part. Okay, and may thy fear fulfill. And this can be a thing, right, that the most fearful thought, it can be come true. So this is the reason he's saying that, don't think any ill about me, don't bring any bad thoughts about me. Okay, but think that we are but turned aside to sleep. They who one another keep, live never parted be. So how beautifully he has written. He said that, okay, destiny, it is playing its part. This is because of destiny that we are being separated, right? So this can be a thing, that your fearful thoughts, they can come true. So what he suggests his beloved to think that, we are not being separated. We are just turning aside to sleep. Just think about that we are sleeping together. Just we are facing our back towards each other. Okay, so this is a very clever idea, I think. Okay, now, they who one another keep, alive never parted be. See, they said that it is our love for each other that keep us alive. So we are in each other's heart, we are not separable. So this is the reason he said that alive and never parted we. So he's just trying to finally say that their love, it is immortal. So no matter what happens, he will always be there with his wife. Okay, if he is not physically present, his soul and his love there, it will be always alive inside his wife's heart. Okay, so I guess you understand this poem. So this is, this poem, it just shows the art of metaphysical poetry of John Donne. So he's just trying to portray here the pain of separation from the loved one. Okay, so this was a very beautiful poem. Just try to make a summary out of it. Okay, just try to write a beautiful summary. Okay, and just try to add lines, the lines which support your summary. Okay, and try to analyze the various figure of speeches used in the poem. Okay, and yes, keep studying. Take care.